a cloistered Catholic nun, and almost immediately they fall in love. A setup like this typically invites provocative, campy satire, the kind of pulp fiction that treats broken vows as a cheap punchline. Here, the exploration of that taboo is entirely earnest. That grounded tone comes from series creator Jack Thorne. Known for heavy state-of-the-nation dramas, Thorne treats the collision of faith and desire with deep investigative respect. He quickly establishes that our two leads, Anna and David, are not enlightened holy figures floating above the human experience. They are deeply flawed people, harboring heavy secrets in plain sight. The narrative reframes their religious vows. Poverty, chastity, and obedience function as highly effective psychological armor, successfully locking the messy, painful reality of the modern world out. For Anna, the worldly trauma she needed to escape was her own family. She entered the convent at 16, actively fleeing a narcissistic, controlling mother. Decades later, her adult reality is defined by extreme, quiet isolation. Her entire existence is safely confined to the routines of a convent vegetable patch. David's environment offers a sharp contrast. He operates in the busy streets of Easton in Bristol, serving as a highly visible, progressive priest fighting for community resources. But his loud, public crusade serves a specific purpose. It effectively masks his private ruin. He is a recovering alcoholic, haunted by intense guilt. Years earlier, he failed to intervene in an abusive household, resulting in a young boy's suicide. Both characters have actively weaponized the Catholic Church to escape their individual pain. The question becomes, what happens when their sanctuary is breached from within? The inciting incident is incredibly slight. Anna burns her hand while cooking, and David simply helps her hold it under a running tap. In lives defined by regimentation and a total absence of physical affection, this minor accidental touch operates like a nuclear bomb. Anna interprets this spark as absolute divine truth. Unable to process the emotion, she breaks her vows of obedience and flees the convent entirely. Her transition into the secular world is an immediate disaster. Having lived in a cloister since her teenage years, her social interactions are infantile, treating confused grocers like a child eager to prove she understands the outside world. Her displacement peaks when she attempts to buy modern clothing. The sheer volume of choices in a bright department store triggers a severe panic attack. Her extreme institutional isolation worked perfectly inside the convent, but it has left her completely defenseless against the sensory and emotional overload of modern life. While Anna flees, David retreats. He entrenches himself in the bureaucracy of the church, picking administrative battles with the conservative Bishop Peter to distract himself from his own desires. Leaving the priesthood is an existential threat to him. His collar acts as the primary safety net keeping him sober. But the outside world refuses to let them hide. Anna's mother arrives to lambaste her daughter, cruelly insisting she wasted her youth and beauty on a god who gave nothing back. For David, the pressure comes from his deaf sister, Susan. Living in close quarters, she acts as his mirror, forcing him to engage with absolute emotional honesty. This chart details the British Sign Language alphabet, the primary mode of communication in David's household. Because BSL requires direct eye contact and clear facial expressions, David cannot look away. The language actively strips away his priestly authority, forcing him to face his cowardice. These harsh familial interventions make one thing very clear. Their religious armor is failing to protect them from the reality of their repressed human needs. The narrative pushes the tension to a breaking point during a parish choir trip to the beaches of Weston-super-Mare, forcing David and Anna into unavoidable proximity. The resulting attraction is dangerous for reasons entirely separate from Catholic doctrine. Choosing to be together requires them to permanently surrender the specific institutions that have defined their adult identities and kept them safe from harm. They have to confront a terrifying psychological dilemma. Is this genuine, sustainable love, or is it simply a trauma bond born out of their shared, desperate isolation? To find the answer, they must face the modern world entirely unprotected, without a nun's habit or a priest's collar to act as a shield. Reconciling a lifetime of sacred vows with the sudden shock of secular romance exacts a profound emotional toll on both characters. Ultimately, the story deconstructs the traditional theological view that strict physical and emotional isolation equates to spiritual purity. The evidence suggests that true psychological healing can only begin when those rigid institutional barriers are dismantled. By the end of their journey, the series asks the audience to reconsider the actual definition of devotion in the modern world. True faith, it argues, is not found by hiding behind the high, safe walls of an institution. It is found in the terrifying, messy, and deeply brave vulnerability of letting yourself be truly seen by another human being.